YouTube, what's good with y'all? It's your boy Heavenly Man Solo back at it again with another video. Hey man, you seen the title, Levels of Lust, where we are headed. Now, before I get into anything, I'm putting a disclaimer on this video within the first 30 seconds. In this video, I will be talking about some topics that are a little bit mature. This is the meat of the word. I made a commitment when I made this channel that I will always do my best to speak nothing but the truth, 100% of the truth, because I believe God will judge me if I don't. I know that to be true. So as I'm speaking today about lust and certain topics and pornography and some of the things that we're going to see in society and the reason why we're seeing some of the things now, some of these perverse things now, I need you to understand that I'm not doing this to be lewd and I'm not doing this to be weird. I'm doing this for informational purposes only, and to also wake people up to what they're seeing. And then also to help people that are struggling with pornography addictions. Maybe some of this information that I'm sharing with you will scare you enough and wake you up enough to where you'll stop and you'll begin to try to seek victory, because you cannot win. You cannot win as a believer with a pornography addiction or with a lust addiction, because ultimately lust is never satisfied. Okay, so that leads me straight to my first point. Proverbs 27:20. We starting off with the word. Proverbs 27:20. Lust is never satisfied. Or another version says the eyes of a man are never satisfied. How can we apply that to practical days? So I call this the box phenomenon, BOX phenomenon, when it comes to pornography specifically. You have a picture when you watch porn. When you watch porn, there's a video right here in front of you. You watch that enough and this all of a sudden isn't doing it for you anymore. So then you go and there's up here to the right, there's a suggestion. Yeah, at first when you were watching this video, you're like, what the heck is that? I'd never click on that over here. But now that this doesn't satisfy you, you go and grab this video right here, this box, and move it to the middle of the screen. Now that's what satisfies you. That's what gets you off. That's what turns you on. I hate to use this language, but I have to. This is what excites you now. Okay, but then as you're watching this second video, there's all of a sudden a suggestion up here that's something you would never watch. See, you're not really into that. I'm not gay. I'm not bisexual. I don't look at, what? But if you stay on this and you dwell on this sin long enough, that spirit inside you will grow, and it's going to make you pull this video right here. Now there's another one. Okay, I think you understand what I'm saying. So lust is never satisfied. And I know I'm talking right, because anybody that struggled with a porn addiction or has been through the woes of sexual immorality knows what I'm talking about. All of a sudden, one girl doesn't cut it a week. Then two girls doesn't cut it a week. Then it's 5 girls. You understand what I'm saying? Okay, moving on. I don't want to beat that horse, but I want to give you the right information and truth, and I want to do it the right way. I'm going to continue to say that. Understand that even when you were young, men and women, this is not just a male issue. This is a man and woman issue. Sexy pictures used to do it for you when you was young. I remember in middle school, I was exposed to pornography at school. I was young. And it was just pictures on a DS. Pictures on a DS. And that's what blew my mind. Then eventually the pictures weren't doing it enough. Even with clothes on, it wasn't doing it enough. Then it moved to naked pictures. Then after naked pictures, it was videos. Then when I finally had a chance to act it out in college, I began to act out my sexual desires when I got to college. So what happened? That lust snowball began to grow in my life from a young age. Especially if you're my age, I'm 24 going on 25. We were the guinea pigs of having these iPhones and these computers, man. There's no way you couldn't have battled this growing up unless God just shielded you from that, or you had a great home life and people were around you. But if you had access to the internet, man, and you were growing up, man, this is stuff you were exposed to. It's internet on every single device. Why is that? It's because they're trying to get porn in your brain. I truly believe that. Every app, every social media app, it's literally a thirst trap for men and women. I'm going to continue to say that. Now, that was all a layout and a setup for what I'm giving you now, the timeline, and basically what happens when someone opens the door to lust. If you've never opened the door to lust, praise be to God, don't ever do it. Please don't ever do that. Hear me. Typically I'm more animated in my videos, and this one's a little bit more somber for a reason, because I'm not serious in those, but I take this issue to heart when I'm speaking about these things, because I truly believe what's plaguing the Christian church, and especially men of God, especially men and women of God that are trying to do powerful things in the earth and trying to execute his dominion in the earth. The one thing that's stopping the church now and its effectiveness is lust. That's why you see that every one of these big pastors is falling to lust. I refuse to let that be me. Come on, somebody. So here we are. We're 5 minutes in. It's probably gonna be a 10-minute video. So first you start here, straight. Then you move to sexually immorality as a straight individual. So you may start masturbating, or you may have sex outside of marriage, kissing and doing all types of stuff, rubbing up bodies at a prom. You start here. Then eventually you're gonna move, if you continue in that long enough and hard enough, and you're watching porn and mixing that in as well, you're eventually gonna get into bisexual and gay relationships. Those are kind of the same thing, but that's the next level, is bisexual and gay. And at this time, this is where certain fetishes can start to come in. I'm not going to go down the list, but these can mean anything. Use your brain, use your imagination. You know what I'm saying? Certain fetishes start to come out. Feet, I don't even want to get into it. I'm going to continue to move on. After bisexual is transgender. Understand, it's transgender. Transgender is the image of the enemy, because the enemy seeks to confuse and destroy creation. God made this body pure. He made a man and a woman's body separate for a reason. Understand that the deity that these people in Hollywood worship, the deity that these Kabbalists worship, it's a transgender God. It's Baphomet. Do your research on that. It's Baphomet. It's upper half a woman, lower half a man. But if you continue, like the box phenomenon I mentioned, if you continue starting up here at sexual immorality, you keep going and you keep going long enough, I promise you, you will end up in a place where you don't want to be. It will take you further than you ever intended to go, and it will cost you more than you could handle or what you could pay. After transgender, this is where we're going. Now we're seeing the big transgender push. What's coming next is going to be animals. It's going to be sex with animals. In Genesis 6 and in the book of Enoch, it talked about that man sinned against bird and beast. What does that mean? That means men and women were actually having intercourse with animals. There's a reason why it's in Leviticus. The laws in Leviticus speak against it. It's because people were doing it. This is real Bible teaching. So understand, do not allow your little brother, your little sister to be running around staying up late at night on that phone. Don't you yourself open up the door, because you go out there and you hook up with somebody at a bar from a bar, and their spirit now jumps on you. You don't understand why all of a sudden I have an affinity for some type of level of lust I never had before, because there was a transfer of spirits within that soul tie. That's why you got to get married. That's why it's time to keep this body holy and pure. I always talk about the temple. Moving on. Animals. Then you begin to move into pedophilia. You're seeing a push for pedophilia now. You're seeing how all these streamers are catching pedophiles. You're seeing how even in pop culture, Kendrick Lamar is talking about a minor. Drake is sleeping with little girls, quote unquote, right? But even if none of that's true, even if that's all show, what's the goal? Is to get you talking about it, get you familiarized with the term pedophile, because they want to make it normal. All right, because in their backwards religious system, that's why all these kids are coming up missing. It's the truth. I'm not staying there. It's the time for another video. I'm gonna have to put a video like that behind a paywall, because YouTube gonna fry me. All right, moving on. Then you get blood and gore and necrophilia, more sadistic things. This is, the tying up people, the rape, the things of that nature, and the blood and killing. And bro, lust is never satisfied. Understand that the end of lust is death. That's part of the reason when Leviticus, it talks about if somebody has sex with a dog, kill them. Kill them and the dog. Kill them and the cow. Kill them and the cat. There's a reason for that, because they actually can reproduce. That's why God flooded the earth. He looked down at creation and said, this ain't what I created. But that's part of the fallen angel knowledge that they brought down. Man, this stuff is getting serious. But where are we headed? We're at 10 minutes. We're about to be at 10 minutes. Where are we headed? We are ultimately headed to a society of transgender individuals having babies by animals and robot and human sex and human partners. This is a great time for me to mention, this is the prophetic part. You're seeing a push on AI. You're seeing a push on AI companionship. Talk to an AI chatbot and it'll tell, and you can sit up here and it'll be like a love partner for you. Understand they're going to start coming out with VR pornography that connects to a robot that lives in your house. It lives in your house. Mark my words. This stuff is going to get very deep. And as I'm talking about this, I already know people are feeling like the spirit inside you that you're not delivered from is like, ooh, that sounds nice. Get that up off you. It's time to get right, because in the last days, what did I say before? What does the word say? Not me. What does the word say? It says we need our light. We need the word that's engrafted and planted in our souls so we can be here when the bridegroom comes, and that's Jesus Christ. Understand, it says the sexually immoral will not inherit the kingdom of God. The sexually immoral will not inherit the kingdom of God. So we have to stay diligent. We have to be faithful in this area. So this was the Levels of Lust video I brought to you. Straight, sexually immoral while you're straight, masturbation, sex outside of marriage, bisexual, gay, different fetishes, transgender into different fetishes, stuff, furries, all type of stuff. That's why you're seeing an increase in people wearing furry masks and wearing those animal heads. It's because it's demonic and it's very sexual in nature. Then it's blood and gore, death and necrophilia. Then we're gonna start getting into having babies by animals and robot and human sex and AI, things of that nature. But that's all I got for you guys today. I really didn't want to bring this to you, but I felt like I needed to, and it's something that I need to set in stone on this channel, that I've spoken about it, so that when these things start to occur, I can have a video and a reference point for people to go back to. I pray this video found you well. I understand if you don't want to leave a like and a comment on this one, but feel free if you feel led to, or if you pick up what I'm throwing down. I understand if you do. I'll respond to it, and I appreciate the comments, and let me know if I'm talking right. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.